Welcome back to another Shiny Shuriken video. Wait, no, it's welcome back to oh wait, no, I forgot my intro. You know what? Just take it away, Shiny. I can't do this right now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Bishme video. We are over on Bishme's channel for a week late analysis of our week 6 matchups for the SRL. I gave Bishme a terrible idea for that intro, so drop him some massive likes because that was hilarious and had me laughing.
But yeah, thanks you guys for tuning into this video for our week 6 analysis. Wait, no, it's week 5 analysis. There we go. Right? Is it? Yo, this is so confusing. After doing this late and getting everything done.
It is 6. It's 6.
It's the week 6 analysis for our battles. So, just looking over the power rankings, going from week 4 to week 5. That week, I was matched up against Shiny. As you guys saw, it was a 5-5 tie with Shiny winning the HP war. We did go into the match again and battle again, with Shiny picking up the W pretty convincingly, and even like the way the match was going, we came to the conclusion that Mimikyu would have cleaned up. So in the grand scheme of things, he did get the W during the match, and in the recreation we decided that he would get the win. So it only helps with my differential. And looking at the power ranking switch, it literally just went from me being 5 and you being 6 to you being 5 and me being 6. So like, how do you feel about that?
Completely understandable. I get the just static. It's weird to say static movement, but like we sit in the same spots, we just swap because of the win-loss. I am happy that we did go in and rematch off screen. And I picked up a win, but I do want to put an asterisk on it, you guys. I was able to get the W off stream, but it was after I learned of all of his tech. I knew what Morpeko did. I knew how important electric terrain was. I could better predict some plays. I still feel like I set myself up in a good spot in the original match for the SRL actual Week 5 matchup. And, it's just tough that we had to go to timer because we would both feel a lot better from a differential standpoint if it would be something we could play out.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. So yeah, let's look and see how we did in our respective week 5 matches, right? No, week 6.
Week
yeah,
6.
Week 6 matches.
So we're jumping into my matchup first, right?
Yeah. So here we are gonna start Shiny's video in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so as you guys know, I'm not great at leadoffs, but I still felt like getting webs up was advantageous to me. I didn't see any real rapid spinners or defoggers, so I thought I was kind of free here. But immediately we have to call out one of the stupidest mistakes I've made all season. I was running my damage calculator with a reflect still up on my side from my team prep session before the matchup. So I literally got lucky on the first turn and Galvantula would have went down to a first impression had that first impression hit.
Right.
And here I was thinking that first impression only did 80%, so I thought I was good. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to bait in the Seismitoad. I maybe could have done a better prediction. I absolutely should have done a better prediction and gone Energy Ball in the switch. But I didn't. I wanted him to just come in and try and stay in. If I show him Thunder, then he stays in maybe. But he didn't. He did all this switching around to keep going first impressions throughout the match, which is a great play by my opponent, Coach Aboot.
Yeah,
it was just really unfortunate that I messed up the reflect on the damage calculator.
Yeah, and like you said, I hope he goes Seismitoad. I'm like, if you want him to go Seismitoad, why didn't you Energy Ball, man? But I feel you, like, seeing that you should live from first impression. Like you didn't mind like throwing out attacks back and forth.
Yeah. And that's true. And I wanted him to see thunder. As you can see, yeah.
Yeah, you look so confused. Like
I was really, really confused. So, and I wanted him to see thunder so that maybe he thought I didn't have energy ball. I was trying to get the Seismitoad to stay in. So if he came in on a thunder, like I thought, okay, that'll be pretty cool. But it didn't work out well. That's why I get O-code by a first impression from Durant, is because without Reflect, it did like 118% damage or something like that.
Jeez. Why Akaberry over Sash?
Because I wanted to run Sash on Salazzle, and I thought the Akaberry would help me with, I can't remember. There was an opponent. This was a week ago.
Darm, was it? Or
Flare Blitz Darm.
Or
it would potentially be Flare. Yeah, I mean, I was just it's my go-to kind of for. It's decent because we see so much fire moves in the meta right now, so that's what I was kind of planning for.
I like the play here.
The knockoff was perfect, but here's the thing: is that I didn't really. I could have played right here a little bit better. After I got the perfect knockoff off, I predicted Seismitoad coming in. I get rid of the leftovers, which is great. I probably should have switched out and kept Salazzle healthy for later.
Mm-hmm.
But I decide to just get a Toxic off on it, which isn't bad. I get lucky.
So who do you think would have been like a better switch in here?
Honestly, I could have gone Mimikyu for the Woodhammer.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because
and I didn't want to break the disguise. But man, with the fact that Stealth Rocks came up, how advantageous would that have been?
Yeah, because you would have been sitting there with your disguise intact, and then, we've seen what Mimikyu does.
Yeah. And I really, really want this gun. And after Stealth Rocks comes off, it's like I know an Earth Power is coming off. I don't have anybody to switch into. I don't want to break Mimikyu's disguise because I want Mimikyu healthy for a Drain Punch on Galarian Darmanitan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely agree. Like, once rocks go up, Salazzle was kind of locked to staying in because you don't want to come in and have it break its sash. So
exactly.
It's just like getting the most work out of your Mon at that point.
I was just basically hoping that I could get a couple of big hits off, rack up that toxic damage, and get rid of the Seismitoad, which I do. So we had a disadvantageous start because of the reflect on the damage calculator. But honestly, like I should have been able to bring it back. Now Salazzle actually. What I wasn't planning on is that Salazzle was actually a pretty good win con later in game. Mm-hmm. I knew Electric Seed Hawlucha was a thing, and it's like, why didn't I keep this at full health later? Yeah, well, and the Sash.
Okay.
So, I get excited about the Seismitoad going down, and Teleon can go off. I'm trying to think what he's going to bring, and I immediately do think that he's going to go Pincurchin here.
Right. Now, I was wondering how come you didn't go... No, did you go Grim on this? No.
I think I did.
I think you go Hitmonchan.
I might go Hitmonchan.
Yeah. I was definitely expecting the Grimmsnarl to get that Reflect up and to, have, like, you're looking at your calcing with the Reflect up. I thought, you you put it up there. Or no. Actually, sorry. I spoke too far in the future. It wasn't this turn, I agree with the Hitmonchan play. It was another turn where I expected you to bring up the Reflect, but we'll talk about that later.
This one is actually just a damage roll. This is where the luck starts rolling for Coach Aboot. So a fire punch does, I think it did like 96 or 93 to 106. So from a fire punch, and I get this fire punch off. He goes defog to get rid of my webs, which is a great play. I call it out in the video even that it's a great play. And fire punch honestly should have KO'd, and it lives on a hair. Like, and instead of trying to predict the switch, I predict that he's going to let me go down, or he's going to let me take it down, but he actually switches to keep it for death fodder for later.
And he brings in Pincurchin, yep. So yeah,
we see a lot of damage come off from my Hitmonchan with a mock punch. I mean, that's a mock punch on a Pincurchin, which is usually extremely defensive.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what do you think it was like on the set? Probably more Spadef?
I think it was I still think it was a pretty typical Pincurchin. The Toxic Spikes, Memento Discharge. Because what I see from it is that it's still quite defensive, but probably still has some special defense build in it, which is a common Pincurchin build.
Right.
After I saw the mock punch, a priority to me was to keep Hitmonchan healthy because mock punch KOs Darmanitan.
Oh yeah, full.
And so I hit this drain punch, and I'm like, that did great damage.
That did do a lot.
It did less than I thought it would. I get lucky he doesn't go discharge. I think that because of the Spadef build in Hitmonchan, I can live a discharge. And I'm like, okay, that is within KO range. And again, he just gets lucky enough to live on slivers.
Yeah, that one was really lucky. I was like, wow, that didn't KO?
I couldn't catch a break with damage rolls. I couldn't catch a break with hustle misses. And here's Hawlucha, and Hawlucha's now set up, which I have the perfect way to handle this thing. I predict the Swords Dance. I actually wanted him to go Swords Dance just because I need to get Grim in to take care of the speed.
Now, my thing was, how come you didn't set up a Reflect here?
Because I only got one chance. I think through Reflect after a Swords Dance, he was still going to KO me.
Really? Well, what was like your defense and stuff?
Max defense.
Because like even though at least I assume, I don't know, I haven't looked at the calcs, but I feel like, you may have lived through a Reflect and then gotten off a Thunder Wave, because then I'm not sure how the rest of your team would have taken the hits, after the Reflect.
Yeah. I felt like the best move for me was to go for to paralyze it and get its speed.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the RNG. I didn't get the full para.
Yeah. I just realized that too, because in the long run, you're like, you know what? Maybe you could get a para hacks down the road, which would cost it.
I was hoping, but I didn't get it.
Because you do end up taking care of this thing, right?
So with the Reflect up, I guess maybe that was a better play that I missed out on. At +2, close combat, acrobatics, sky attack.
Well, I don't think he was sky attack because he was electric seed, and I think he thunder punches you here. Wait, or I might be wrong.
On the Grim, but I get. What did he used acrobatics on my Grim.
Yeah, so
yeah,
with no item.
Yeah, Reflect would have helped me live.
Yeah, because I think like you could have reflected and then paralyzed it after, and then like you would have been able to bring in the rest of your team would have been fine because he has no special attackers. So I just thought like Reflect would have been a better play.
It would have been, and I get shortchanged again. This is 3 times where I had a chance to KO. Ice Beam doesn't pick up the KO from Inteleon.
Yeah, that was a really low roll.
It's just I can't get a KO. Hitmonchan gets to come in and finish it up with Fake Out, which is fine. And I get poisoned from the T-spikes and everything. And now Hitmonchan's in, but still very healthy, still very able to do things.
Right.
And I've still got the Durant left, which I actually ran. I actually built Hitmonchan for both Durant and for Darmanitan.
Right.
I put Bright Powder on it to try and get some RNG in my favor to lower the accuracies by 10%. I was like, all right, maybe he'll miss a hustle move, or maybe he'll miss an Icicle Crash.
Yeah, because at that point it's down to 70% chance of hitting.
For the hustle.
Yeah.
And an 80% chance on the Icicle Crash.
And like...
Which if you're me, that's about, you gotta take another half of that away. So, if he misses one hit here, Fire Punch KOs Durant.
And then you could Mach Punch at that point.
Yeah, Fire Punch KOs. I Mach Punch the Rotom-Mow. I Mach Punch the Darmanitan. I have a healthy Mimikyu who comes in and Shadow Sneaks or fires off a hit, and I win.
You have the disguise up, yeah. Yep.
Literally, everything hinged on that Iron Head hustle. And it's just downhill from here because I get KO'd, and there's just nothing I can do. I can't hit it hard enough with Drain Punch from Mimikyu. I had Wood Hammer on there for Seismitoad. There was just nothing I could do. And with the disguise busted on Mimikyu, I can't handle Darmanitan.
Oh yeah, and then here he does the Rotom sack back into Durant first impression, right?
Which is a great play. A good play from him. And I did forget that first impression outdoes Shadow Sneak.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay. So what
forgot priority levels.
Like, yeah, like plus. It might be +4 or something.
Yeah, it's obviously it's called first impression, so it's got to go off first, right? So just unfortunate, Mimikyu goes down to its own life orb damage, so it's not like I get to give. I don't have to give the Vindication to the Darmanitan to pick up the KO. I tried to play here. The problem with this week is in week 6, it was a winnable match. I think my team was better. I just tried to play to RNG, which was really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have done that. I could have changed around. I could have dropped speed off of Hitmonchan because it's not like I was outspeeding anything. I could have put more build into defense or special defense. I should have done that, and right. I didn't.
Especially because you had, your priority was getting up the sticky webs. You were expected to outspeed a lot of things,
Yeah. Fire Punch from Hitmonchan looked so good in this match, and it did perform well, but I just didn't get the damage rolls.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't get the hustle misses that I was hoping for. We had a turn 1 hustle miss. That did help me get one turn further and put some chip damage out, but ultimately it didn't matter. It didn't change the outcome of the matchup.
Yeah.
So it was just unfortunate. I shouldn't have prepped the way that I did in building for RNG.
Okay, yeah, like especially you want to say like with the Bright Powder.
Yeah, I thought it was fun when I thought of it. I was like, oh, this will be so fun. I'll get so many misses.
Yo, and if it worked out, like, whew, that would have been great,
Then it makes me look like a genius, but now it just makes me look like an idiot.
Hey man, you win some, you lose some. That's all I gotta say.
And I only lose 1-0.
Right.
And I don't know. Maybe Coach Aboot did some changes to Darmanitan. Maybe he ran some defensive investment into it to live the Mach Punch. But yeah, it was just an overall unfortunate match where I should have made better plays. I should have done a little bit better. I don't think there was really anything wrong with the team that I brought necessarily.
No,
it was just in my prep.
Tools.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks like we're back on to our regularly scheduled programming where I win one, and you lose one, or you win and I lose. So let's jump into my battle. All right, let's jump into my battle in three, two, one. So we're going up against the Rayleigh Goons. I wanted to bring out my Wheezing and like set up T spikes, like looking at the team preview, but I felt like Scorch didn't really have a place in this match. So I was thinking of getting like my Gigantamax out the way, just so like I could play the rest of the battle. But I end up going for the knockoff. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna knock off this thing. Let's see its item. And I completely forget that Incineroar gets fake out. So I'm like, okay, like that was a free switch into Weezing. So I want to say, like, disclaimer, a lot of misplays in this match.
Yeah, but I don't mind it because going in, you're predicting a knockoff from Incineroar, maybe, and it's very important to keep the Black Sludge on Weezing. So that's why I understood kind of the first play.
Well, kind of to poke a hole in that, I was actually Damp Rock.
Oh, geez, that's right.
Yeah, so the plan was, Beartic looked so good in this match, and I wanted to, have the rain up for Swift Swim. Just to backtrack a little bit, I knocked off the black glasses, and that allows Incineroar to do a lot less damage on the Darkest Lariat. And then, I bring in Weezing, obviously my defensive wall. I was thinking of setting my T-Spikes, but I go for the Flamethrower read on his switch to Dugtrio.
Very nice.
Yeah, so kind of like with, I want to say you with the Vileplume. You guys got to watch out. You can't bring those grass types in on Weezing or the Steel types. I've caught it too many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
no, that was a great play. Great play there. And obviously, because you're neutralizing gas, you do have the threat because Dugtrio is faster. So
yeah,
I completely get the hold up and kind of trying to think through. All right, what's my best switch in here? A question for me is, we really haven't seen you bring it very much, but why no Mandibuzz?
Well, I just think that like I'm mainly using it as a specially defensive wall, as Weezing's taking up the defensive slot for me. From like the first week has been so good, so I've just been bringing Gastrodon because it would look better like on paper to me. But if I don't see that Gastrodon could like really do anything, I would definitely bring Mandibuzz. So I've just kind of been like flip-flopping between those two.
I just feel like they both complement each other so well that I'm surprised that we rarely see the combo together. Mandibuzz offers that ground immunity to the super effective damage that Weezing takes. And they both complement from a defensive to specially defensive setup.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that. Instead, I might start running like a Levitate Weezing. I might. Don't quote me on that. But like you said,
I don't know, that gas looks pretty good for you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's been putting in the work. But I mean,
so it has been. Why the switch here on Virizion with Whimsicott when you brought Smart Strike?
Because I feared the Moonblast. Now, like I usually team prep with Carlos, and I'll search it up. Like, no, I can't. But the Whimsicott speed is like 120 something, and I was sure he was running the speed. He brought it in on Virizion to KO it. So I just wanted to avoid the Moonblast. So that's why I brought in Weezing.
See, I don't know. I mean, it's a little one-sided, but for me, Whimsicott's such a one-trick pony with the Tailwind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I totally would have predicted out the Tailwind and just gone for the hit. I don't know if Smart Strike would have KO'd.
I think it might have. I was Life Orb, and I don't think those things are very defensively, bulky.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I see him Tailwind, I know he can't like touch Weezing, so I just set up my rain for Beartic to start, hitting things hard. And as you can see, he brings in his Primarina under Tailwind. That thing is gonna be like so fast. And you know, I'm not sure. What do you think I should have done instead of leaving Gastrodon in here?
I mean, it wouldn't have worked out in the favor. But in a moment, you could try to predict out a switch out of Primarina and get Beartic in. Beartic would have taken a very punishing energy ball, but it also would have been in and set up and ready to go. I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think Primarina just had a very good matchup against my team. Being Water and Fairy. The only thing that could have kind of taken a hit was Verzian. Well, no, not Verzian. Like Gastrodon or Beartic, because a Moonblast is gonna hurt everything. Outside of that, I got the Rain set up. He could have went for a Hydro Pump or a Scald, and Rain boosted. That would have hurt. So I think
see, and I don't know. Gastrodon looks nice in the matchup. You let it go down very easily when it really was a good counter. You get dangerous clicking the Swords Dance. I like it. It allows you to live this hit, which if you had switched in Beartic on the energy ball, you wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah, and then my thing here is my Beartic wasn't even Swift Swim. I had my Slush Rush Beartic from when I went up against the Dracovish team. So I'm sitting here with a Slush Rush Beartic in the rain, thinking I'm outspeeding his team, when I guess he just didn't have the speed invest.
He just has slow boys. No way. That's so funny.
Yo, and then looking back, he could have probably even KO'd Beartic because the rain was set up. Water moves get I think a +2 boost, so he would have even KO'd me with Hyper Voice with the because it turns into a water move. So in the rain, I'm pretty sure after the Moonblast damage, he would have killed me.
Yeah, so, he would have. That's so funny that you just ended up getting lucky. For me, the reason I'm talking about switching Beartic in on the energy ball is just because trying to get the most turns out of rain. Not that it would have mattered, apparently. But yeah, that's interesting.
Right. And here, I'm maybe he's coming in to throw off a Moonblast, because looking at my team, nothing could take it. I'm pretty sure we know Weezing isn't especially defensive. So I feel like Moonblast was a 2-hit KO. So, he sets up the Tailwind, which just allows my Beartic to take it out. And I really think Moonblast would have been, a better play.
Attacking, knowing that the rain is gone, so the supposed Swift Swimmer is slower, would have been the better play. They would have kept it. They could have Tailwinded on the next turn. It's interesting play.
Right. I just want to say, I played this match very reckless. I was just ready for my months to go down so I could bring in something and start a momentum, which is definitely like I said, a reckless way to play.
Yeah. No, I get it though. I mean, it works out. You're still in the match. You're not getting obliterated through some unfortunate plays.
Yeah. Because before Beartic got those 3 KOs, I was down 4-6.
Yeah. You're still in it though. The mons you have lost aren't the most unfortunate losses. You still have Weezing, you still have Verizian, you still have your Beartic at the time, you have your Como-O in the bag, which can be a defensive wall.
Yeah, definitely.
So it wasn't the most disadvantageous 4-6. And you had chip damage off on some things.
Totally agree. I want to say here, I ran the calc at the end of my video. If you guys didn't watch, Como had a 25% chance to live that hit. So 3/4 out of the
That's
time.
That's like my damage. That's like some damage rolls from my matchup.
Because the damage rolls were 44, 45, all the way up to 52, and I was at 46. So Como living on one was like a struck of the luck play, because
That's really
without that, like, I would have lost, and I'll say that. I have no problem saying that. Without that, I would have lost. And
yeah,
another thing that kind of like made it that close though is that Doug Trio was Jolly instead of Adamant.
sure.
So like the Adamant would have like cleaned it up. And just a little shout out to what you told me in the last breakdown, that if you guys haven't seen it, it's over on Shiny's channel, link in the description, that Duraludon isn't very especially defensive. So I was surprised it lived a +2 Aura Sphere.
Well, that's the downfall of Aura Sphere and why people roll the dice with Focus Blast. Aura Sphere is still just an 80
80
a base
power.
80 damage, and that's overall it's tough.
Yeah. It's just, I've seen that move miss too many times. 70% accuracy doesn't do it for me. Obviously it worked for Coach Boot, Flatador Flapples, Maybe I should take a note from his book or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I always call it Focus Miss. Always. And for some reason it always hits me. So
So yeah, I finally clicked that Smart Strike on the Clef. It looks like it's holding a berry, so it's gonna eat that up. And then now we just have a 1v1 Weezing versus Clef.
yeah, and with no item, it's pretty crazy. I think that's pretty awesome. Here's what I'm gonna say, because you guys find out here in a moment that this is a unaware Clefable. Very surprising to me to find out that it's unaware instead of Magic Guard. It's not like your team really sets up a crazy amount. I'm guessing it was for Como O.
Right.
But really, what else on your team sets up? I guess you did run Virizion and Beartic with Swords Dances, but still,
right.
Magic Card is such a great ability on Clefable.
Yeah, because even if he was Magic Guard, you could have. I'm not sure if this Clef was defensive. Well, it must have been, because Sludge Bomb is doing that much. But if you're defensive, I don't think that Virizion or Beartic setting up is a problem for you. You know what I mean?
Especially though, because my big call out is that prepping for you, it's like you prep for T-spikes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, especially and Clef getting poisoned ain't a joke, man.
Yeah, that was big, and I think that really put a stop to the wishes.
Yeah, because Sludge Bomb plus the poison. I'm not sure how his healing was looking. Maybe if it was the same, but after seeing a couple matches in the league go down to time from people drawing out the match, he said that he just wanted to get it over with.
And he could have totally kept going with it, but because of the poison, it really stops the wish.
Yeah.
You're not going to win out on the Moonlights, and you only have 8 max moves. You're going up against Sludge Bomb, and you're also not damaging the Weezing. So eventually, it's a no-win for you.
Right.
For me personally, it's a really, I don't know what else he had for a set on the Clefable, but it's it would have been very interesting to see a first turn Calm Mind. To get the Spadef up, knowing that Weezing is a special attacker, getting the Spadef up before you're poisoned, then playing some wish tactics and trying to wheedle in, because I've done it. I've been there. I use Clef. I love it. It's a bulky giant. But using that kind of wish, Calm Mind countering to extend out the amount of wishes you have. Or not wishes, but for me, it's Moonlight.
Right, how many times can you take the hit? You interchange between Protect, Wish, and Calm Mind, And like at the end, you know, you're looking pretty sweet, especially, you know, you get to +6, sludge bomb isn't doing anything, the toxic doesn't really matter, you know, and then you
Yeah.
just throw off a couple moonblasts and that's the game. And I want to say, like, especially in the end, I kind of played that like sloppy, because after seeing that he was wish protect, you know, I wasn't max PP'd on my sludge bomb, so I should have started clicking other moves to you know, not waste the PP on sludge
Yeah.
bomb.
It's interesting. You get away with a good win. Tough fought. You know, lots of other opportunities. Crazy to find out after the fact that that bear tick was not Swift
So
Swim but
swim.
Slush Rush.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a matchup that could have gone either way.
And yeah, so you know, I pulled it out 1-0 and you lost 1-0. I'm very interested in how, you know, the power rankings turn out after this. You know, you were 5 and I was 6.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing how those go. So,
Same. Me too.
you know,
Should we take a quick look at week 7?
yes.
All
I had to think about that. All right. So, hey guys, you know, just a disclaimer, we are recording this after our week 7 battles were recorded and uploaded. So, we're just going to go over, you know, what we decided to bring and why, and just like overlooking the battle. So, we're going to start with mine here. You know, looking at this team and, you know, how many times they brought their mons, you know, I couldn't count out, you know, the Pex, Rillaboom, Machamp, and Braviary, because they've come to every single match. So it would be weird for someone to like not bring the mon that they brought to every match. You know, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I agree with it. I've brought a similar approach.
Right. Especially with your Mimikyu, you know, I don't see you leaving that home. And even if it's like 6 Excadrills outside, I don't know.
It's too good. It's too good.
But yeah, so
Can I just call out real quick though? You know, why is the Linoon so big?
yo, who does it? The guy who runs the site, man. You gotta, what is this?
Anyway, keep going. The Linoon's just weird me out. It's so big.
The Gothitelle is so small. But yeah, so looking at this match, I definitely wanted to bring Sigilyph, Verzian, Weezing. I actually brought Mandibuzz and Como. So like that was the main 5, because he has like that fire weakness, you know, Ghost, Psychic for the Toxapex and Machamp.
No Gastro.
No, I brought Mandibuzz over Gastro this time because I saw that like it could counter Gengar way better, because I know that thing is a especially attacking monster. So I just wanted to have it for that specifically. You know, it could take a Sludge Wave or a Shadow Ball. You know, if it was running Thunderbolt, I'd be in trouble. But I like Mandibuzz's especially defensive capabilities over Gengar's, and then also for the Gothitelle. You know that I know that thing has.
For me, like, I know you have multiple ways to handle things out here. You know, between Morpeko and Togedemaru for Toxapex, but it's interesting because in ranked play, you know, I run into a lot of Tox, and I'm sure everybody else does too. You see a lot of Toxapex, and it is really tough to deal with. I don't care if you have options. It's very tough, and it's even harder for us without a Dynamaxing option.
Yeah.
Because you can't just fire off a super strong Max Lightning. You got to try and whittle this thing down, play out the Regenerator / Recover.
Right.
Interestingly enough, I actually really enjoy Earth Power Gastrodon on Toxapex.
Okay.
It still does about 50% damage, because the defense power on Toxapex is always seems to be a little bit better than the special defense.
Right. Yeah. People usually run like the bulky, especially defensive, and like looking at it, you know, obviously the match is over, but like looking at it now, Gastrodon would have probably been like a little bit better, you know, having Ice Beam and Earth Power to kind of take out, you know, the Rillaboom or the Braviary, you know what I mean, and then resisting Bolton,
Would have been scary to be in against the Rillaboom, but
Yeah.
yes,
But
if
like
for
at that
some
point, I
reason you
just
can get an Ice Beam off on a switch in,
yeah,
yeah,
and like get a
that's great.
freeze, you know.
Oh, get out of here.
But yeah, like I wasn't really liking Senda Scorch's matchup, which is funny because like in my video, I literally go through team building a Morpeko on in the video, and I put it on my team, and I'm like, all right, this should work out. So I bring Morpeko over Senda Scorch because I don't see anything like taking a Aura Wheel, well, or like switching in on it.
Sure.
All right, so
Yeah, I mean, there's no ground ground Pokemon here.
yeah.
There's definitely electric resists. Both, you got Doublade, you've got Fracture, both resisting that. Rillaboom, of course. So
Yeah, and other than that, I was kind of confident going into this match. Um, picking up a win last week after playing so reckless definitely brings up your confidence. So I definitely want to say this match was a fun one. So
yeah, it definitely looks like it looks like a winnable matchup. When I'm looking at this team and I'm looking at how well it matches up for you, it's like, for me, first note is always interesting to see G-Max Machamp because I think the thing is garbage.
I mean, it definitely is. And the special defense on that thing is like 55. So
it's crazy.
I had like Psychic Sigilyph for that.
Air slash Sigilyph. Sigilyph just wrecks that thing all day long.
And then, Zen Headbutt version if need be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came in like ready to deal with that.
Well, I wish you the best of luck? Question mark.
Yeah. What is this week 8 at this point?
We are moving into week 8 as we are shooting this. Yes.
Let's look at your team preview.
Absolutely.
Boom. I think I do too.
So I have a very tough matchup. I am actually going up against the undefeated Cerulean City Mewtwo's.
Yes, sir.
And I will call out right away that I did a similar team prep for this that Bishme did. I looked at the Pokemon brought to the most matchups. Bisharp, G-Max Hatterene, and Surfetch'd have come to all 6 matchups.
Right.
So I definitely game planned to handle them. And I'm telling you right now, I did not have great answers. Not hinting at the matchup. I'm just saying, when I was looking for things to play against Bisharp, it's, obviously you can say it's like, oh, well, Mac, you have Hitmonchan, you have Mimikyu with Drain Punch, you have ground attackers in Quagsire, you have a fire attacker in Salazzle. It's like, he's not going to let me just fire those off. And so, yes, maybe I can predict out some switches. I had ways to deal with it. But honestly, I was worried about a Bisharp leadoff. Was because I have seen him bring it. And it was interesting to look at the kill death. He had only 1 kill with Bisharp, but 2 deaths. It's like, all right, he is using this thing differently. It's not an attacker. So, I looked and I was like, oh my God, it can set rocks. And of course, there's the priority. So maybe he uses it to put chip damage out for a late game sweeper. And Surfetch'd has 8 kills, his kill leader. So I was like, I definitely got to prep for that. So Bisharp honestly really worried me. And then his G-Max Hatterene was his second kill leader, I think with 6 kills.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything truly amazing for that. Now, Shadow Claw from Mimikyu was an easy switch for me. I made that adjustment. I dropped Woodhammer for Shadow Claw. But that was still only one way to deal with it. And you don't want only one win con. You need to have multiple. So I was a little worried about that.
Yeah.
And then Surfetch'd, Surfetch'd was one I wasn't too concerned about. I had Spirit Break from Grimmsnarl. I could hit it with Inteleon. It's not the bulkiest of Pokemon, but then also Play Rough from Mimikyu. And then when I started looking at Surfetch'd, this is where my light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, Ninjask looks so good. Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. A really fun setup for Surfetched is Scarf. It's got a ridiculous attack stat, so if you fire off the Scarf, or if you have the Scarf and you start firing off attacks, it really does stop a team in its tracks.
Yep.
So Ninjask is faster even with a Scarf Surfetch. So Ninjask all of a sudden looks so good, and I started looking at the rest of the team. I was like, okay, I can Oko Celebi with an Acrobatics. I can 2-hit KO a Bisharp. I can 2-hit KO a Hatterene. I can 2-hit KO an Indeedee. If I get really lucky on a switch in, I can 2-hit KO Kira, maybe a damage roll, which I wasn't feeling great about. U-Turn does well. Leech Life does well against Mr. Mime. I was like, man, all of a sudden, Toxicroak was also something I was really worried about too, because of, 4 weeks in a row, I've got people who can absolutely nuke and stop my Inteleon.
Yeah, right in his strikes, after seeing Inteleon get that sweep, people are like, we need to do something.
Yeah. Well, they're responding in kind. I'm definitely dealing with all the water absorbers, which means I hopeful playoffs will just be me just snipe shotting everybody to towards my championship.
But yeah, just a little comment on the Bisharp. Like you said, I like a choice scarf. I mean, a focus sash Bisharp with the stealth rocks, or like even coming in to throw off a little sucker punches. Like, I don't see him throwing Bisharp in the way of like a Hitmonchan or a Mimikyu, especially people know that thing run Drain Punch. So,
Yep.
it was interesting to see like how he would play with that. And I know I did speak to him. He said he wanted to get Bisharp to do more stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's why he's been bringing it to a lot of matches. I don't know if you remember, but I did go up against Sen, and his Bisharp didn't even get to like touch the field against me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was a tough matchup to prep for, and shortly after I started prepping for the team, I noticed something very quickly. I want to give a quick shout out to James from the PWD, a friend of mine and Bishme's. James had Indeedee Male and Hatterene Gmax on his team. But then you look at this, and all of a sudden I noticed that Celebi, Gmax Hat, Male Indeedee, 3 Trick Room setters, a 4th with Mr. Rhyme. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I was very, very nervous with that, which actually resulted in me leaving Galvantula in the bag.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not bringing webs. I'm going to make them even faster in Trick Room.
Yeah, because like even with when you look at his team, he doesn't have any electric resist, like anything to stop thunder. So like you would see it and like, hey, Galvantula could kind of like do his thing. I don't see it getting outright KO'd by anything. But as you said, Trick Room could have been a factor in this matchup.
Well, and I also did some calcs. Bug Buzz was not KOing a Bisharp, a typical build Bisharp. It wasn't KOing Indeedee. It wasn't KOing Gmax Hatterene. It just didn't all around look the best. So what I ended up bringing was Cloyster, my Gmax Grimmsnarl, Inteleon, Mimikyu, Ninjask, and Salazzle. I felt like this was the best 6 that gave me potential. So, you guys make sure, obviously, like we said, we're doing this post week 7. So we actually already know the outcomes. But you guys, we're not going to spoil it. Go check out those matches. Bishme came off a 1-0 win the week prior. I came off an 0-1 loss. So we're both really, truly looking to rebound and do better and put up better shows. So, go check out those matches on our channels. Week 7 is up at the time of this. I went up against the undefeated Cerulean City Mewtwo. It's always tough to go up against an undefeated team. So make sure you guys check those out.
Yeah, and just to close out, thank you guys for tuning in to the week 6 recap. Yeah, evens are on me. So if you guys did miss, the other ones, like I said, go check out my channel, check out Shiny's channel. We have these weekly recaps for the SRL draft league that we're in. Ton of fun being in the league. These videos are on the longer side because we're going in depth of our analysis, and you know, it's just a lot of content that the league brings, and I'm glad to be in it. Um,
Yeah,
anything
same.
else?
Yeah, I love these videos, you guys. You know, you get a little insight into our thought process. You know, obviously, for a lot of you who watch me on my streams, you get to see my thought process on battles. But these are very specific battles because you're not seeing the same meta Pokemon every single
Mhm.
battle. So it's a lot of fun, and you can learn a lot of good battle tactics, prediction skills, and so much more from these draft battles.
So yeah, like Shiny said, you guys check out those week 7 battles as they are up, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.